Many thanks for choosing us. Let's begin with this one on parents, because the joy of bearing a child is one that every parent looks forward to with excitement. After the birth of the child, it is the parent's wish for that infant to develop and function fully. But what happens when that desire never becomes a reality? Ahead of World Cerebral Palsy Day on October 6th, we bring back a story produced by JoyNews' Beryl and Estina Richter on a family raising a child with cerebral palsy.
55-year-old Comfort Laye lives at Labadi. Comfort is married with 3 children. Her second child, Michael Ablo, has cerebral palsy. Michael is 20 years and has spastic quadriplegia cerebral palsy. This means he lacks the ability to use his legs, arms, and body. This type of the disease is generally caused by brain damage, either before birth, during, or shortly after.
In fall premature. It told me why. I know quality and it told me why. Why in your crowd, my folly, only my folly. Well, about Jamie Kabashia, Nash, Achi and I, Nico, no me call a boo, Louis, Jihing folly. You will catch a chelly, my bashia. Kakenti, Kulakan Shisha Tom 7 me, my bashia Tom Becca 8 me. Every hour, 3 hours, and we are haleful. Where Gemma on a Jiwo. Na Jiwo ni Kele Bashia, Nikeleti, Children's Hospital. Gemma doctor came here. Bonin Fole, inofe no back pise. She no ko be ni abanye afiye. Iwo Nkele ya check up. Kele ti awon gbene to mi. Ni paje me ya. Nu wa ba shi hospital. Doctor came here, Kule, in ye touch you bang. In yen, no fair no back pisse. She naturally. You will think about one dream on me, it's one dream on drown because now can you choke? Tashan her que. Sanima forget, she can quay na equal banya. I ye mistake. She echo me, ole, no you ni a balenaka. Ninjana can dream on. There
are many factors that can play into an infant's developing brain damage, including fetal infections, maternal infections, exposure to toxins, or medical negligence. Professor Bedu says this type of cerebral palsy comes along with several challenges.
Normally, when we say cerebral palsy, we are just talking about maybe the motor part. But when you have spastic quadriplegia, and of the type that we see, then usually this is a child who, let's say, would have moderate to severe learning difficulties, or what you call mental retardation. We don't like that term anymore. There's a high chance that epilepsy is also a part of it. So this child is getting seizures. There's a high chance that this child may not be able to swallow properly, difficulty with swallowing. They drool all the time. So, saliva just comes down, it's not going down. They would have speech and language problems. They may have orthopedic problems, the back bends, the spine. So they get what we call scoliosis. That's quite a big problem because that can narrow your chest and give you chest problems. Then, of course, you don't have the ability to move or potter around. Then your fine motor skills, your hand function, can you write, can you do that? So there's a lot. And then a lot of them too may have visual problems. All right, a lot of them may have what we call a squint or may not actually see because the brain doesn't process the image because it's been damaged also. So spastic quadriplegia can be complex, can need quite a lot of professionals to try and get this child a decent life, and it can be challenging.
Caring for a child with a disability can be one of the most heart-straining experiences a parent can go through. Everyday tasks such as feeding, grooming, toileting, and bedtime routines can be extremely challenging, especially if the child requires complex care. Comfort used to operate a corn mill, but she had to stop.
Only Gina Boundy, that been in Bonyomo Pampis. Leon Chumuko, Leon Panichumo, like Nichumowa. But none time ning Ukekwele. No one Banchunukubiane.
Michael has to crawl on his back or be lifted onto his wheelchair. His elder brother Ben has to help him move around the house. According to Professor Baidu, cerebral palsy is unfortunately a lifelong condition.
Cure, as I know or understand that word, for now, I don't think there's a cure. Stem cell has promising ability, stem cell therapy, but I wouldn't say that it is well established, at least for cerebral palsy. In some areas, it's been brilliant. I think even for vision and hearing, injecting stem cells in the right ways, they've got dramatic results. But like I told you earlier, it looks like cerebral palsy. There are different things that can cause it actually. And so it is not like you have one maybe unique or solitary kind of problem that we can say for now when you use maybe stem cell therapy, then everything sort of goes away. I mean, if something has damaged you and it has made you get, let's say, mental retardation or what we call learning difficulties, it may not be easy to reverse all that with just one treatment. So I think there's still a long way. It is promising, I admit, but it is not the cure yet. So for now, there's no cure. If you get or you develop cerebral palsy, then you've developed it.
For life?
Yes.
Well, in the studio with me is Hannah Awaji, who is Executive Director of Special Mothers Project, a support group for mothers with children living with cerebral palsy. She will share with us her own experience of raising a child with the condition and that of other mothers whom she comes into contact with every day because of her work. Good to see you, Mrs. Awaji. It must have been a tough experience for you to deal with this situation, but I know you've made it much more exciting. How old is your child?
6. My daughter is 6 years old.
6. Share with me your experience over the period.
Okay, so if you give birth to a child that you are expecting to be in a certain way, but turns out to be in another way, the first thing that comes with it is disappointing. You have plans for your child which you think may not materialize. But just beyond that, what has helped me go through it, possibly with joy, is for the fact that I saw persons with cerebral palsy in Ghana who have made it. There's someone who is a lawyer who has cerebral palsy, a Ghanaian. There's Farida Bedwe that we all know. I recently met a gentleman, Samson, who is in the level 300 at the University of Education, Winneba. So it means that all hope is not lost. What we lack now is how to help parents go through that phase of disappointment, depression, grief to acceptance. So I went through that phase, but I think I went through that phase quickly, because I sought to look for other mothers who had come before me. And that's how the Special Mothers group was born. I looked for mothers who had children with cerebral palsy and who had made it, like Farida's mom, and learned from their experiences in terms of how they were able to do it. If you have a child with cerebral palsy, the development is slow, but it doesn't mean they do not develop.
Okay. I know that you meet several mothers with the same situation every day because of the kind of work you do. I know you encourage them, but initially, how do they feel about this whole thing?
It's always a feeling of hopelessness, depression, frustration, because in Ghana there are no support systems. We have to kind of prioritize our social protection system. If there was a place for people to go leave their children and continue with their life and come back to it, it wouldn't be that daunting.
Stressful.
But we don't have it. So when you have a child like that, you are left with a child to struggle. You look at this child 24/7. You possibly have to abandon your career and everything. And that is where the depression and all those things come. Yes. So what the Special Mothers Project is doing is first creating awareness about the situation of some of these mothers and what they go through, and appealing to government to put in policies or structures. Something as simple as getting the social welfare to have homes.
Are you saying
centers.
that we don't have I mean, the social protection system doesn't have any package for such children?
No. We don't have functioning rehabilitation centers in Ghana, for instance. We don't have places where you could just go and put the child. There are people in the university studying community-based rehabilitation and all those things. They come out of school, they have nothing to do because those structures do not exist. So if we could get places where you can put these children, we have trained personnel who will do a little bit of basic therapy with them for you, the mother, to go and come, earn an income. It wouldn't be as the picture is now, because I always say that other mothers have gone through it. Farida's mom went through it. Samson's mom went through it. The lady who is a lawyer, Ajwa, her mom went through it, and they have come out well. Is that the need for social protection structures is not there, and that is why these parents go through a lot of frustrations and all those things in a bid to look for their child, look after their child, and even that complicates their issue because they become desperate. They want solution. They go to give them concoctions that they are not supposed to give, or go for treatment that is not appropriate, and it worsens the children's situation. Ordinarily, if we have a good social protection system, things should be fine.
Have you taken any step to actually get this addressed, like approach the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection and I mean the social welfare to find out what government can do about this, and what has been the response? Okay,
so I've taken a lot of steps. I use the media a lot, so I do write a lot about some of the situations of these mothers and other things. Getting to government is a very difficult thing. Going to booking an appointment to go and see the Minister of Gender can take forever. I wrote a letter to the Ministry of Gender 2-3 years ago, and I still don't have any response. But I've been able to meet the Executive Secretary of the National Council for Persons with Disabilities and discussed with her some of the situations of parents. Okay. I'm hoping that through the council, the government can start thinking about an efficient and effective social protection system that caters for children like this. Because as it is now, it looks as if the government doesn't have a clue as to how to deal with this situation.
Let's go back to the Special Mothers Project. What kind of support do you offer to mothers who have such children? So the Special Mothers Project provides an online platform for parents to connect. Oh, it's actually online? Yes. So we have a WhatsApp group, we have a Facebook platform, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. We connect through WhatsApp. We share experiences. We peer counsel. We do professional counseling as well. And then we meet periodically to also talk about empowering ourselves. So recently we had the Special Needs Parenting Summit that brought together parents of children, not just with cerebral palsy, but other disabilities, to look at how we can push for policies in the country. Interesting, but every year, October 6th,
is World Cerebral Palsy Day.
We celebrate children with this situation. This year is coming, I mean, just around the corner. What are your plans for this year's celebration?
This year there are a few things going on. There's a group called Cerebral Palsy Awareness that is holding a forum on the 5th of October for us to have a dialogue about cerebral palsy in general. I think the Minister of Gender is supposed to be the guest speaker. There's another group called Impact Care Rehabilitation Foundation that is having the Families Day out for families to bring their children out and talk, have a picnic and laugh about the little things of life. And then the national celebration is taking place in Kumasi, being spearheaded by SWEB Foundation, where there will be a forum to talk about cerebral palsy.
Oh, interesting. We wish you well as you plan to celebrate that, but I hope you're impacting on more parents, more mothers to take this situation and make it very exciting for themselves so that can limit the stress.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hannah Awazi is the Executive Director of Special Mothers. It's a group that supports mothers with children who have cerebral palsy. And October 6th is the day we celebrate as World Day for Cerebral Palsy. Wish you well, and we hope that the awareness will go far.